Hello friends, I am Dr. Basoprabhu Jurli, Professor and Head, Department of Extension Education, Institute of Agricultural Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. In this class, we will be discussing about the types of reporting. I hope you are looking into various facets associated with journalism. So, one such important aspect of journalism is reporting. So, what are the ways and means that I can think of reporting, and the various issues associated with that, we will be discussing them one by one. So, when we look into the first part, that is the report, it is basically the depiction of the event happened in the presence or absence of a reporter. And most of the time, we can never expect that the incident is going to happen or the event is going to happen in the presence of a reporter. And there are so many plain events that happen, like if you are covering a seminar or a conference or such things, that you can witness the event, but there are certain events which you don't know wherein how the incidence is going to happen, and under such circumstances, in both the circumstances, you need to prepare a report. So, that is what makes the responsibility of the reporter more important if the event is happening in his absence. Then the reporter should abide by the discipline of verification. Again and again, we are emphasizing on this discipline of verification and truth because the reader is interested in understanding the event, understanding the fact, what has happened wherein he himself was not there. So, that can be achieved with the patience and energy to sustain long hours of working, then only you can come out with the facts or the truths, whatever it is. So, that is what is very, very important. So, when we look into the report, there are two forms that we come across. One is the oral report and the other one is the written report. So, oral reports are highly informal in nature, and so if you want to repeat this oral report, so there will be variations in reporting. But in case of written report, it is fixed because once you are preparing a written report, it is going to be a document forever. At the most you can add value to that, at the most you can modify that as and when it is necessary, but it is a document. So, if you look into again the written reports, so there are two types of written reports that we come across. One is the formal reporting and other one is the informal reporting. Formal reports are considered as the valid documents for the futuristic aspects. Informal reports become the base for preparation of the formal reports. So, informal reports generally we don't take it as an official document. So, it is for understanding purpose, it is for it is acting as a foundation or the base, that what we have said, but the formal reports are expected from the reporter. Then different forms of report, if you look into the informational report, wherein, so just I am coming out with the basic data or the fact or the feedback and various other types of information without any analysis or interpretation and recommendations. So, what does it mean? For example, as a student of agriculture, I am coming across a huge amount of data on rainfall or other weather parameters, the temperature. But if I am a physiologist, my way of interpretation of the same data is going to be different, and if I am a plant pathologist, my way of interpreting the same thing is different, and if I am an economist, my way of interpreting the rainfall data is going to be a different way. So, that is what is the meanings that I am attaching to the same data or the fact or whatever it is. So, that is what is the informational report. So, basic data that I am presenting for my readers or my viewers. So, the reader, based on his demands, as I said, I have given you some examples. For example, the same rainfall data, if a medical professional comes across, his way of thinking is going to be different. If the same set of the rainfall data, if a civil engineer is going to come across that, his way of interpretation is going to be something different. It is based on his wisdom, based on his needs, he is going to develop his own reports out of that. Then the second form of report is the interpretative report. So wherein I am attaching the meanings to the data what I said in my previous discussion. So here I am preparing the report in detail. It is having a particular objective. Based on that objective, I am trying to interpret and prepare the news for that, and sometimes it may become the breaking news also. Then the routine reports which are prepared at a fixed interval of time by the organization. We say that it's a quarterly report or half yearly report or the annual report. So these are the routine things that we come across as a report, and every year we need to prepare such reports, and every quarter I need to present a report. So that's what is the routine reporting. After lapse of certain amount of time, maybe it is 3 months or 4 months, or after lapse of 6 months, I need to submit a report. So that's what is the routine report. Then coming to the basic differences in reporting for a different media. As a professional, I need to understand this. So let us begin with the concept of periodicity. So when the news is being published. So in case of print medium, it is almost fixed. It is fixed. So whether I am working for a daily or a weekly or a fortnightly or a monthly or half yearly or annual, whatever is, its periodicity is fixed. But in case of radio, we may be having around 2 to 3 news reports every day. That depends on the channel. So they are presenting the news, and it is the same with the television also. But in case of web-based platforms, so it depends on the platform. There are exclusive news channels, and there are channels which are providing the information. So that depends on the platform. Now you have seen the differences based on the media. If it is a print media, its periodicity is different, and if it is a radio and TV, its periodicity is different, and if it is a web-based platform, again it is going to different. What are the format that what we are going to present the news? So in case of print medium, obviously it is the text and visual which are being presented. In case of radio, it is only audio is being presented, but in case of TV, it is audio visual with added effects that we can add to that. But in case of web-based platforms, we can have the combinations of all these things: text, audio, visual, different combinations that we can make. So that depends on the creativity of the reporter. Then the basic issues of concern for the print medium is the space. Because they have the limitation of space. Maybe the newspaper is consisting of 10 pages, 18 pages, 20 pages per day. So that's what is the limitation that they cannot think of going beyond that. But in case of radio and TV, it is the time which is the limiting factor. So that is why we need to adjust a lot of things in the available time only. But in case of web-based platform, if you look into, there is no limitation on time as well as space. You can make use of any amount of information on the same platform, because you have a lot of space that is available there, and that can be made presentable to the people. Then if you look into the length of sentence, which is very, very important, as a student you need to understand this thing. So you please note this particular thing. Length of the sentence in case of print medium should not exceed about 15 to 20 words per sentence. It is not that we are counting 15 words and we are writing a particular sentence. This is the upper limit that I am giving you, and that depends on the event, that depends on the incidents, and that depends on the nature of report what we are preparing. And in case of radio, it is going to be little bit less, 10 to 15 words, because the listener is having a limitation, because he need to visualize the things what you are trying to present here, because he is not looking at your video, or he is not looking at your visual, whatever it is, but it is only the words which are going to impress them. So that is why the sentence length should be reduced here. Then in case of television, because the video as well as audio is simultaneously there, so that is why, so the number of words should be minimum. And in case of web-based platforms, that depends on the situation. So you need to because the text format is also presented there, the audio format is also presented, the video format is also presented there. So that depending on the situation, we are going to vary the nature of the length of the sentences. Then the nature of the medium, So it does not change for a day because newspaper is published only once in a day. So if today's newspaper is out, I need to wait for another 24 hours for getting the next edition. But in case of radio and TV, so I can have multiple editions. So that depends, because maybe the timings are fixed, but due to the emergency situations, or if the situation demands, I can set another timing for broadcasting of the news. And in case of web-based medium, time is the key element, because you have a lot of freedom in case of web-based medium. To continue with the characteristics, ease of reaching the news source. If I want to go back to the previous issues, or if I want to refer back to the previous editions, so it is very easy in case of print medium. I can easily trace them, but it is very difficult. It is just opposite of the print medium. It is very difficult in case of radio and TV, but in case of web-based platform, again it is very easy. You can trace back to any of the previous editions. Maybe it's 1 year old or 1 month old or 10 years old, whatever it is. So I can trace it back, provided it is available there in the source. Then nature of processing of the news. So go back to any part or any time, so that I can reread it, I can collect it, I can preserve it. All these things are possible. But in case of radio and TV, it is not possible. But in case of web-based platforms, so I can get the print and I can store it in my own web space, whatever it is, so that it is relatively easy. The interaction with the audience. So in all these three, print as well as this traditional electronic medium, it is very low, because instantaneous feedback is not available there. There is no instantaneous feedback. So the delayed feedback, for example, only when I complete my reading my newspaper, then now I start writing for the editor. So that may reach the editor in due course of time. Maybe it may take 1 day or whatever the time. So then he responds to that in the next day's newspaper or next to next day's newspaper. Then I am going to get it. But in case of web-based platform, it is the interaction is very high, because instantaneously you can give your response, whether it is positive or negative, in many forms, and you can get the feedback also. Then approach and influence on the audience, because in this case of print medium, the readers are going to miss the tone of the voice, the physical appearance and dress of the presenter, etc., which are available in case of television. But in case of radio, only the voice is there, but the physical appearance and the dress and all those things are going to be missed. Depending on the platform, so we can accommodate all these things in case of web-based platforms. So all these variations are there between the print medium, the radio, the television and the web-based platforms. Now,